Hey guys, it's Jojo93. I meant to just review the last couple of days, but unfortunately working at a movie theater, Transformers and Spider-Verse back to back has just been a crazy combination, but you guys deserve my Transformers Rise of the Beast review, so here it is guys. There will be absolutely no spoilers in this video. I will only be talking about plot details from the trailers, from the synopsis, only things like that. Only if you've seen the trailers will you find out things that are known from the trailers. So, now a lot of people have the critics have kind of written this movie off, doing their whole little thing, but this has now kind of become the new Venom, guys. People have been hating on this movie, but this movie is fantastic. Now people didn't go see Bumblebee because they thought because they'd been burned by all the 5 Transformers movies that just weren't good. A majority of them at least weren't. So they decided, oh, I'm not going to go see Bumblebee. But Bumblebee was fantastic. But Bumblebee felt like more a return to form and giving us Generation 1 looks for Bumblebee and other Autobots. So the other Autobots were more like side characters, where Bumblebee was the lead focus. Which is great, except for the fact that Bumblebee is a character that talks, and so sometimes he talks, but sometimes he doesn't. So it's just a different kind of atmosphere, a different experience. So I'm just trying to move my light, sweetie. I like it there. I think that's good. So it's a different experience for him, and I think this next movie feels what a Transformers movie should be, where you feel like it's a reboot. There's still a little bit of hints of the Michael Bay-isms, but it's mostly in the music, which we'll get into in a minute. Here we really get to see some awesome stuff. We have human characters that have purpose. So we have this character named Noah Diaz, who is, we're dealing with some new Hispanic people, which I think is different. They've changed up the races in these movies, and I think that made for interesting human characters. Not just that they went for more different ethnicities, but also they have a character from the cartoons in this movie that hasn't been in too many of the other Transformers ones. They introduced Mirage. Mirage is great. He's a life of the party, man. Pete Davidson makes this movie, man. He's hilarious. The dude he's got great one-liners. He's like the new Jazz, but different. You feel the vibe. And the best thing about this Transformers movie is we're focusing on the Transformers. There's no more, oh, humans and Transformers teaming up. This movie, it's clear that the humans are there, they have a role to play. The Transformers are there, they have a role to play. Eventually they work together, but unlike Michael Bay's BS, in this movie, the Transformers are fighting each other, and you get to see the action. It's not, ooh, there's a robot, ooh, look, I know a shaky cam, oh, I can't see shit, boom, there's an explosion, No, this is done right. They actually gave it to someone who understands the lore of Transformers, and so our threat in this movie is Unicron. So basically the plot of this movie is the Transformers, the Autobots are fighting the Terracons for this key. The Autobots believe that if they get this key, they can return to Cybertron, their home planet. The Terracons want to bring it to Unicron so that Unicron can basically can just like Galactus, he wants to consume worlds. He wants to eat Earth. No, it's like a big whopper for him. You know, he wants to devour worlds, and so that's his main game. So his Terracons, he's empowered with separate strength and made stronger so they can fight the Autobots easily. So the lead villain in this, we gotta talk about the voice cast. So Peter Cullen, most known for being Optimus Prime from every single iteration of Optimus, from animated to video game to live action, has returned to voice Optimus again. And nobody sounds like him. He's like the James Earl Jones for Optimus Prime. You get it. You get why they use his voice, because he is Optimus Prime, even at his old age. And they develop it great. And I think they've just crushed it with him. I think he's great. In this movie, we get to see some character development with him, where we always see him in the Bay movies, where he believes humans are the next step of life. We think that they're great. We think they belong here. They're great. They fit the tone of everything. But that's not what's happening here. Something much different is happening. And it's on a different level of understanding from what we need to see happen. So, good Transformers battles. The story is decent. It's not amazing, but it's good for a Transformers movie. Another thing, the soundtrack is... Now, this is going to be a hot take, okay? Now, Spider-Verse had some great songs, and Spider-Verse is a better movie in my opinion. But if somebody asked me what movie I enjoyed more and what movie I was smiling ear to ear, the reason we go to the cinema, I would say Now, keep in mind, Spider-Verse is a better made movie. It's animated. It's got a great story. It's got everything that's great, and I'm sure Part 3 is going to be amazing. When we invented the cinema to go and have a good time and enjoy ourselves, Transformers is the popcorn film that you all need to have a good time. Like, Fast X was a popcorn film, and it was a fun cliffhanger, but we don't know what's going to happen with the next half. With this movie, we have a complete movie, and then what happens next we'll get into in the later half of the video. And when we get to that part of the video, I will give a slight spoiler warning, even though I think everyone on the internet, their fathers, their daughters, their uncles, they know what we're going to discuss. And we'll save that for another video as well, but I'll talk about what it means in another video as well. But so first, we're going through this movie. So voice cast: Peter Cullen, newcomers, Pete Davidson as Mirage, fantastic. Owns this movie, loved every scene Mirage was on. Next up, you also get something awesome. You get to see something amazing with our Terracon. Our lead Terracon was voiced by Scourge is the lead person that is working for Unicron, and Scourge is played by and voiced by none other than Peter Dinklage. You know, I'm surprised he was such a tall robot, considering Peter Dinklage is quite small, but it was awesome. He plays a great villain. You obviously miss characters like Megatron and the Decepticons, but I think they're saving that for later, which we'll get into in the next aspect of this video when we talk about the ending of the film. But so this was really good. It's a fun-paced movie. The action scenes, I'm bopping around, having fun. Mirage is cracking jokes. Optimus is getting tense. Bumblebee's... We gotta talk about Bumblebee. Okay, they finally did something, and I don't want to talk about this too much because I don't want to spoil it. There was something in this movie. They decided to do something with Bumblebee in this movie that they should have done in every Transformers movie previously, and it's amazing. See how Bumblebee talks to the radio? In this movie, Bumblebee has been going to the drive-in and watching the movies, so he's picked up all these great 80s one-liners to use, and like it's incorporated so well, and there's a moment that happens later in the movie that we'll talk about in the spoiler review that makes that just incredible. So great one-liners in here, good things to use on Fortnite, great action, well-paced story, good villains. This has the makings of greatness, and it serves as a great Transformers movie. The action is well shot. You get to see robots fighting. The music is awesome. Soundtrack. They even bring back the 2007 Transformers theme. The dun 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 dun. You know, that epic Optimus Prime Autobots theme, which is cool. The battle's awesome. Other cast members. Michelle Yeoh plays one of the Maximals, and the Maximals are, this movie's called Rise of the Beast. In this movie, we deal with the Beast the Maximals are from the Beast Wars cartoon. So you get to see Transformers that turn into actual animals. So as they're disguised on Earth for millions of years, so you have a hawk or bird is Airazor. Airazor is voiced by Michelle Yeoh from Everything Everywhere All at Once, and of course Shang-Chi's aunt. So she was fantastic. I loved her screen time. I loved how she was used. It was awesome. The Terracons are quite unique. The most important one was Scourge, which we already mentioned. The fight scenes between Optimus and him and the revenge story we get with Optimus in this movie, it's fantastic, super awesome. Not only did they find a purpose for our main character of Noah, but Noah actually is able to get in on the action as well. Similar to how we got to see Shia LaBeouf in on the action, but in this movie it's much more like a Voltron Paladin situation, which I'll talk about in the spoiler review, but it is awesome. It is cool to see how they did the action in this movie. I thought the third act of this movie was exceptional, and I thought it was really fun. And it is a Transformers movie, and it delivers on that promise. So, we have one part of the movie we have to cover for second but last. Before we do, I'll give my score after we talk about this. Alright, so here's what we'll do. I'll give you my score, and then we'll talk about the big thing at the end. So, movie in general. This Transformers movie, I'm going to give it... I can't give it a perfect score because these Transformers movies, they have their flaws, they have their issues. But for a Transformers movie, I think I will be happy with an 8.5. This is a great Transformers movie to go see. I think it's the best Transformers movie in theaters that has ever been made. I think it's the best since the animated Transformers movie back in '86. I highly recommend you guys check this movie out. I want to go see this again as soon as possible. Let me know who are your favorite Transformers characters in the comments. I'll be ranking all the Transformers characters as well as the movies later this week, and I look forward to hearing your take. But before we end this video, one more thing to mention. There is an end credit scene, but it's not really important to the story. It's just kind of a fun little bit from the movie. But then as the main storyline wraps up, we defeat Unicron. Unicron comes back for a later date. We get a little thing. There's a little segment in the movie where Noah Diaz is at an interview trying to get a job. Because in this movie, they have real hard time struggles. We're trying to see this family that need help paying for their son, who their son is literally he's injured and he needs a doctor, but they don't have the money to pay the bills to help him and to take care of the surgery. So he's looking for a job to make more money to help his mom out. So super great mother-son. Son has to be the master of the house type story. Really enjoyed it. Really thought the banter between Mirage and everyone was great. This was a great movie. Lots of fun memories. Great action. Great comedy. Great blend of it all. Great soundtrack. But so this scene, he's sitting down for an interview, and it's like, oh, what is this kind of place? Like, I don't know if this job's for me, like, kind of denying. And then the guy's like, I know you worked with the Autobots in Peru, and so he's like, kind of derailing. He's like, let me know if you change your mind. And the doors open, and there's a secret compartment. And this is Sector 7, which is canon to all the Transformers movies, where Sector 7 is actually basically the Transformers worked with humans back in the old movies. And Sector 7 was basically, like, hired by the president to go and, like, take on alien threats. But they couldn't be known by the public or anyone because they're secretly working for the president. But when this guy goes to offer him a job, he steps back and let me know if you change your mind. There is a card that is handed to Noah. Before the camera fades out, you get a glimpse at this card, and on the card, the G.I. Joe symbol shows up. And I flipped my shit. Because here's the thing, okay? And we'll talk about this in a video tomorrow as well. Why this is so great is because we've heard rumors that G.I. Joe and Transformers would be crossing over. Now it's happening, guys. We're going to see G.I. Joes and Transformers cross over. And the glorious battle for Cobra will rise with the Decepticons. And so this is something I've dreamed about for a long time. I'm hyped for this crossover. I will do a whole video talking about what the potential for this is tomorrow, as well as my spoiler review. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed my Transformers review. Make sure to like the Autobots before you roll out. You do like, share, and subscribe. Oh, by the way, speaking of subscribing, I've been checking in my YouTube analytics lately, and I noticed that there's at least 23% of my viewership that is not subscribed. What are you doing? As Deadpool says, not subscribing is a dick move. If you enjoy my content and you've been enjoying watching it, I highly recommend subscribing. Thank you. Have a great day.